Hello everyone, this is Ronnie. I'm gonna start doing these videos on YouTube because I want to get away from the internet connection problems, and also I want to be more clarified right here so I can get more details. So I'm gonna start doing these YouTube videos about defense news on here. And I'm sorry I'm still got that cold and I'm tired. Oh man. But anyway, I'm gonna start going through the list I wrote right here on any military deals that's been going around the world. I'm just going after the ones that really came to me and attract that more attention to me. I'm gonna start with like I was saying about the Royal Navy deal. I mean not Royal Navy deal, but the Royal Navy anti-shipping missile deal. Not anti-ship. I don't know why I'm saying anti-shipping missile deal, but the Royal Navy retiring the Harpoons, it just I see that as a big, massive mistake right now since there's um, no replacement out. There's no replacement right now for the Harpoon. Um, and I know there's a new anti-shipping missile and slash cruise missile that's coming out called the Perius or something, which is a French and British development. Joint development. It's kind of basically based off the Storm Shadow and cruise missile. But nothing has been talked about for the last couple of years about it. So I don't know if it's been on the wayside or it's just been delayed or it's just been kind of canceled. I don't know what's going on with that. But I think the Royal Navy's doing a big mistake retiring the Harpoon. With even though the Harpoon right now is kind of a dated design, but it still has a lot of good things about it. Still useful in combat situations in the modern era. Um, but the thing is, once they retire the Harpoon, their ships will not have. They just have to rely on their guns. So it's pretty much the Royal Navy's going back into the pre-Cold War World War II doctrine of ships going up had to go up close and personal using their cannons against other ships. And right now, how other navies around the world's got their own anti-shipping missiles. The Royal Navy is pretty much going to be destroyed by um, with simple. I mean, other warships because they got the other nations got their. The other nations' warships got anti-shipping missiles themselves, which the Royal Navy warships don't. So I think it's a very stupid move, and hopefully they reconsider that and delay the retirement until they get a new anti-shipping missile into service. However, the British politics lately has been getting far, far stupider every time they come to defense, and they like to slash everything defense related. And to top that off, there's a number of problems going on with the British Navy with their warships, like the Type 45 is having problems, mostly with the engines. So it just the British military in general is just going through a massive downgrade for the worse. Luckily, the carriers and the I'm gonna also want to talk about one ship too, the HMS Ocean being retired too, which is also being it's a stupid mistake because HMS Ocean isn't really that of an old warship. It's still brand new. Well, not brand new, but still kind of younger. It came out like in late inter service in late 2000s. I'm not late 2000s, late 1990s. I'm sorry about all the mistakes, but yeah. Um, but that's the thing too. That's just going on with the British military in general and stuff like that. It seems like the government has pretty much kind of destroyed the British military and everything. I mean, they're having uh, sailors haven't there's a lack of sailors coming in, so they have to employ other people from other navies or other people from former navies or bring them back from that were in the Royal Navy. There's also having problems with aircraft, and it's just a one big mess, and it seems like no matter who is in charge in the British government, it still gets worse and worse and worse. Also, another case in point, I want to talk about the Royal Air Force is having problems with the E-3 Sentries protecting the British aerospace now. But the problem is, not aerospace, airspace, um, is that they're having problems with the aircraft themselves now. So some some glitch in material. I mean, some glitch with the systems that is causing the aircraft to be grounded until that system is fixed. But yeah, the F-35 is still having major issues. Well, not major issues. Well, sort of major issues because the aircraft is 50-50. One's 50% operational, the other 50% is still in development. Um, and to me, why bring an aircraft into production that doesn't work? If it doesn't fully work, keep it in development until everything's worked, the kinks and everything else is fixed. I don't think it's a good idea um, to bring an aircraft into service um, because of all those problems. It's a stupid mistake. Um, but hopefully they'll get them soon, fixed soon. Um, let's see. The Zumwalt, this has been old news. It's been talked about for a few weeks now. They can't afford those new advanced GPS guided 155 millimeter shells. Um, the problem is the price. I think when I read about them, like 800,000 to $1 million for one of those shells, and I'm sitting there scratching my head, like why? Because GPS systems for the stuff is getting lower and lower and lower. And the more I think about it, it's more of this. The defense industry is that these people in the defense industry is trying to get more and more money out of the Pentagon and in the taxpayers, so they could just sit there and live royally somewhere in the beach in Bahamas or something like that. And it's getting really ridiculous. I hopefully when Trump gets in office, I hope he does some or some like the defense secretary comes in there and cuts a lot of that fat out in the defense industry. But well, I don't know if that will happen, no or not. But it needs to be because there's just a lot of bad corruption going on in the defense industry and stuff like that, and a lot of these people making money off subpar products. Like I said, for example, F-35 not working as supposed to be. So the issue is in general that it definitely needs to be dealt with very soon because this stuff right here is just costing us money. Like what was it last year? They had to build an $8 million gas station out in Afghanistan. Um, yeah, it doesn't really cost $8 million to build a damn gas station. So that's just the thing is just people getting more and more money from the Pentagon and the taxpayers, and I think that should stop right away. So I think there should be some government regulations about that issue. Um, on that issue, let's see. I'm just marking some of these I just already talked about. One thing I will say about I want to talk about a little bit about the British people about when it comes to military. This is no offense to the British people in general, and this is not to my friends and stuff like that. Who I got British friends and stuff. I'm just talking about the ones that are hardcore, um, and really and also the British media in general. There's some stupid reports that came out of the British media, like for example, like the British Navy could take fight against Russia and China and stuff, or India or any of these other nations. I don't really get into the comparison dick measuring contest stuff. I don't post any of that stuff. I think it's just a waste of time and it's just stupid. The problem is what I have with with this in general is this whole ideal that the that some of these people's got this in their mind is in I don't know, they've got this empire mind. They still think the British Empire is still powerful or what. But the thing is, like I was saying about the British military, it's going downhill, and it's not going. I don't see it improving anytime soon. So I don't really know what's going on with the British military. I mean, I don't know what's going on with the British people. I'm not all of them. I'm talking about the really the tough ones, the really the big fanboy ones. They're talking about that the British military could take on any nation and stuff like that. And I'm sitting there thinking like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Um, Now, and more you read more of this stuff, like I said, these people don't really have. I don't know if these guys live in an alternate dimension or something or what, but how the British military is going downhill like that, they're not. They can't even take on anybody in the near future. Uh, how how things are going, they probably have a hard time taking on Malta or Montenegro, let alone nations like Russia or China. And like I'm saying, I'm not a big Russia or Chinese fanboy or anything like that. I'm just saying some of these media in general department is just getting really, really ridiculous about how powerful the military is and this and that. And you get some of these people on Facebooks or some of these military defense forums on the internet and they talk big and bad about how powerful the military. Don't get me wrong, the British military is a very professional military force, especially their special forces and stuff like that. But the problem is you just got this mentality is from some of these people, not saying all of them, some of these people act like the British are unstoppable, they're very powerful, and in reality, it's far from the truth. But that's the issue I kind of like to talk about because it's still a big uh, topic, and I kind of want to talk about. It seems like to me the British military is going what the Argentine military went through with the Argentine government. The Argentine government didn't do shit for the for the military for since the late night since early 2000s, very early 2000s. I think this pretty much everything just came to a stomping halt in 2002 after the finance crashed there. But the thing is, the Argentine military, since they got a new government that came in office last year, has kind of been boosting the Argentine military up a little by little. So we'll have to see from there. But it seems like the British military is having that Argentine effect where the government just does not want to do anything for the military. So it's kind of sad but true. It's kind of like what's it's weird. Um, so on that, I'm just scratching some of these out. Also, I want to say that the New Zealand's supposed to get their. New Zealand's also looking at Embraer or Embenard. I call them Embenard for some reason. It's a Brazilian aviation company. They're New Zealand's looking at getting KC 390s from Embraer. It's a new small transport aircraft. It's kind of got the similar size and dimensions to a C-130. Um, and the New Zealand's probably looking at them as a replacement for their older C-130s. I think they bought some I know they bought some C-130Js some years back. So we'll have to see from there. Right now, it's just more they're interested in it and looking to get technical data and information, and pretty much that's it. Uh, if everything they like about the aircraft, they'll fully go forward with it. However, the KC-390 is doing successfully so far, getting deals from Brazilian military along with Chile, Czech Republic, Colombia, and Argentina is also looking at it, and I think a couple other European nations are also looking at this KC-390. I know Mexico's probably reconsidering that deal too because Mexico and Brazilian relations are getting back together again. However, I don't see it happening anytime soon because the Brazilian government's also going through a transitional crisis right now since Dilma has been kicked out of government over corruption issues. And there's a new government right now going through a stage, so we'll have to see what's going on from there. So, well, like I said, we'll have to see. Um, Also another deal that's in limbo too is F-16V, for Bahraini Air Force, the Royal Bahraini Air Force. Um, the the 16 V's. I know the Bahrainians was looking to buy 18 of them. I'm surprised the deal hasn't been signed many years ago. I mean, years ago, because uh, Bahrain and the United States have some really tight relations with each other. Even though I disagree with that, I don't know why we giving these nations to some of these, giving our military to some of these nations. But um, but it seems like there's nothing coming out about that 16 deal so far. So it looks like it's right now it's in limbo. I probably won't hear nothing much about it till next year. But they were supposed to buy 18 of them, and it would have been one of the most advanced F-16s in that region. Probably probably a little bit. I don't know, probably a little bit similar to the F-16Is of the Israeli Air Force and the F-16 Block 60s of the United Arab Emirates Air Force. But probably more advanced or a little bit than the 16s that were given to Egypt. Well, more certainly Egypt, where the 16s are more powerful, more advanced than the Egyptian ones, and probably Oman. So we'll see from there. I'll keep you guys updated on that. Um, Also another deal that's been in development hell. I mean, well, not development hell, but it's been in vaporware status. It's the Taiwan is finally looking to get M1 Abrams. That deal has been talked about since early 2000s. But during the Bush administration, back before, I think it was before or after 9/11 happened, that Taiwan was looking to get some M1 Abrams. However, the funding, then you had political issues going back and forth, so nothing got really done over that tank deal. So it looks like now that the Taiwanese parliament, the government, pretty much has approved, is going to be pretty much approving the M1 Abrams deal, and they're looking to probably buy around 100 or 200 M1 Abrams to replace their old M48s, the CM11s, and CM12s, and or M68-3s. However, I see more in the future that the M60s will probably be updated as a stopgap measure. So, but they're looking to get these M1 Abrams probably upgraded and shipped to Taiwan by 2021. And there's some they're gonna kind of keep this up till 2035, so they're gonna have most of their tanks up to modern day standards. They're also buying the CM32 Cloud Leopard 105s, so that could also help out and develop, taking over some of those older tank battalions that are used right now. Like I said, the M48s and CM11s. So we'll have to see from there. I'll keep you guys updated, but more likely that deal is going to be passed. I know there's been some controversial issues with the tanks because they're considered too heavy for certain Taiwanese infrastructures like bridges and rail networks and stuff like that. But but we'll see from there because they really needed some tanks badly because now the Chinese army has been buying Type 99s, Type 99s, Type 96. A lot of new battle tanks coming out of that country lately in the last few years. So it's a good thing that they're upgrading and really considering that. They really needed that. They really needed that upgrade. So from there, we'll scratch that off. Um, Also, Azeri, Azerbaijan, Azerbaijan. I kind of, it's a nation in the Caucasian region, uh, or Caucasus region. Um, it's near Central Asia. Is that they're improving their military budget up to, I think, a billion or two. So they're probably going to be up to about 11 or $12 billion for their defense budget. From what I'm hearing, is that they're looking to buy warships and aircraft probably with this budget, since there hasn't been really any major combat aircraft news since the MiG 29s over a decade ago. So they're looking at buying Su 27s from Ukraine or JS 17s from Pakistan or China. If they do buy the JS 17 from China or Pakistan, they will be mostly fitted with Turkish built and probably some Russian features with them. So that wouldn't be, or Ukrainian. So they're um, probably gonna be fitted with more advanced stuff compared to the Pakistanis or Chinese variants. If they do buy it, it'd probably be the third customer who bought the JS3 JS17s. Like I said last week, Bahrain, not Bahrain, but Myanmar and Nigeria's got JS17s on order. So they're probably more likely to be a third one. Also, like I was saying last week too, the Saudis are also looking to buy JS17s, but probably more or less as a more or less buying it as a gift to give to another country, more or less probably to help, probably more or less to keep Egypt in the sphere or Sudan, because I know Sudan and Egypt is looking at JS17s for some years now. Um, so we'll see from there. Um, but they're also about that. The Azerbaijan's also looking at warships too. Um, I know they were looking at the SAR 72 Corvette from Israel, and then I know they were looking at getting some Russian frigates. It's kind of odd about this whole issue is that the Russians are still supplying them, even despite their support in Armenia. But I guess they're going to supply them with naval weapons and stuff too, because naval warships are not really considered not a nil threat to the Armenians. So I don't think the Russians even care about what their they could probably don't care about what the Azeri Navy is going to buy or what. So we'll see from there. I know Armenia is also upgrading their T-72s up to a B3 standard. So I just recently learned that from a friend of mine earlier. But that doesn't surprise me a bit. Um, so scratch that off. Also on Pakistan, they're buying the Hamza MRAP combat vehicle. I know they got some U.S. made like the Cougar MRAPs in service, and I think the Cougar and some other vehicles. But they also came up with a MRAP system called the Barak. Not it's got BURAQ. Um, it was supposed to be in service a couple years ago, but the Pakistani army seen them as they were not really satisfied with it, so they canceled the Barak project. So now the Hamza MRAP vehicle is going to be in service. Probably it's a prototype's been developed, but we'll see if it'll enter service or not. More likely it will, because since some MRAP development has been like in development. I mean, come and go. I know that Serbia was looking to sell them some Lazar MRAPs a few years ago, and that deal fell through. So yeah. Also, I know the Turkish is offering their own MRAPs at the Capri. Capri, I can't pronounce that well, but I know that they're offering them to Pakistan too. We'll see what happens from there. Also on military deals too, is Serbia is looking to buy from Russia some combat aircraft, helicopters, and land vehicles. On what they're looking to buy is undecided, but I know they're looking at MiG 29 some years ago, so there's probably gonna be additional MiG 29s, probably the SMTs, could be the MiG 35, but probably doubtful. But but it could be. Um, I know this could probably be more Hips and Hinds and some more um, probably some armored vehicles and stuff like that. Some APCs, probably some tanks like T90s, but they're looking to spend about probably I think a billion or two on them. So I don't know. They didn't really give too much details on what they're buying. All they said is going to be buying more aircraft, helicopters, military vehicles and stuff like that. Sorry if I'm sound like I'm boring and stuff. I'm just kind of a little tired. I'm sorry about that. Um, I got two Polish news. One that the Polish Air Force recently got the M346 called the Balika, um, which will be in service. Well, it just came recently in service with the Polish Air Force. But I think the most stuff is not going to start till next year, so it's not going to be officially in service probably till next year. But I could say that I think hold on, they pretty much ordered eight of them, eight M346, but they probably more likely order more in the near future. Right now, the Polish military is expanding to the big time. They're expanding a lot. There's some talks that the Polish air military is also looking to buy Apaches soon, so that's good news. And I have a feeling that they're probably going to order more Blackhawks because since the Cougar deal fell apart a few years, like a month, well, like last month it fell apart. So there's still a lot of deals going through. We'll see from what happens. I'll keep you guys updated on that. But a lot of stuff has been coming up for the Polish military in general. Um, I think we're almost halfway done with this. On the other thing about Polish is the Poland is buying about 60 Hamar. Well, they're buying 60 Hamar MLRS systems, but half of them will fire the new type of missile that's going to be, it's like a quasi or short range ballistic missile type system, kind of similar to the what the heck is that system called? I can't think of it right off the bat. Um, it's a missile that is seen in on the MLRS systems, the M270 MLRS. I can't think of the name of that missile right off the bat. Um, Gosh, it's gonna bother me right now. Um, wow, I have a brain fart. But it's a similar. It's like it's gonna be similar to the was it ATAC? Something ATAC, I think. I can't think of the name. I know it starts with A, but it's be similar to that type of missile, which will be used against infantry, tanks, structural emplacements, and stuff like that. Um, and more likely, we'll have cluster warheads or a large warhead, but we'll see from there um, from that goal. But they will have half of them will be equipped with those systems. Um, and they will back up the other MLR systems that are in service right now with the Polish military. Um, but like I said, the Polish military is really beefing up their military big time. Okay, I'm going to talk about these two deals. Scratch that one out. Okay. One is the Qatar. Well, this has already been announced, pretty much done and go with. Uh, is that the Qatarian Air Force recently bought 72 F-15 QAs. That's a new designation for the new F-15s. The F-15 QAs is pretty much going to be very much similar um, to the F-15 SAs of the Saudi Air Force, which they bought a few years ago, which are starting to enter service now. They paid about $21 billion for them, and these will be backed up with 24 plus 12 very soon. Rafales from French. I would not be surprised if they order more Rafales in the near future. They will be replacing the token force of Mirage 2000s and about like a handful of Alpha jets in service. I sit here and scratch my head for a nation that's got over 1 million people, but smaller than a lot of countries in the world, even smaller than say, man, Qatar's. I think Qatar's kind of like the same size as I want to say as damn, I can't. So it's kind of similar size to a U.S. state. I can't think of it right off the bat. Well, kind of like Maine, but got a massive air force up to uh, got a very massive air force. But at the same time, who's gonna fly all these aircraft and stuff like that? But that's what they spent. They spent about $21 billion for the 72 F-15 QAs. Boeing's gonna be very happy because this will keep the F-15 production and in service up to um, in the 2020s. So because there's also some nations like Israel and Japan's also looking at buying F-15s to boost up their air defense and long range strike capability forces. So we might see some forces. So I would not be surprised to see a 15 production going into 2025s and stuff like that, or up to 2030s. Um, to top that off, Kuwait has been approved of. Um, they approved. U.S. government approved that deal too. For 40 Super Hornets, and this is going to cost $10.1 billion. And what's also going to be added involved into the deal is that let's see is that 8 of the aircraft will have CFTs similar to the Advanced Super Hornet that was announced a couple years ago. And also the U.S. Navy is also looking at the Advanced Super Hornet to back up their forces. So 8 of the aircraft will have CFTs, comfortable field tanks. There's talks that they're going to be adding CFTs on other Super Hornets, so I would not be surprised that most, if not all, of their Super Hornets will be featuring CFTs. So that's going to be for $10 billion. So that's pretty much, yeah, that's going to be pretty much it right now. Um, well, that's really it's a really good year for Boeing. Their Apache deals is going through with India. Poland's looking to probably buy additional Apaches pretty soon. Got about like over 100 F-15s in production right now for both Saudi Arabia and Qatar. Even though I kind of don't really want these countries to have our damn military weapons, but if it, I don't know. And and also the Super Hornet deals. They announced their TX earlier just a couple months ago, well, last month. So it's a really good year for Boeing, and hopefully they keep track on it. Hopefully they keep things up in track because right now Boeing don't really have, well, with the exception of P8s right now. Also the P8s are also being successfully with the Royal Navy and Indian Navy looking at buying some. Well, the Royal Navy bought some too, but it's like pretty. Like I said, it's a pretty impressive year for Boeing though. Anyway, I'll let you guys go about that subject. Like I said, I'm gonna probably do these videos probably on YouTube now because I know connection issues is a problem, and I'd rather have it like straight talk. I don't want my face and everything be fuzzing out or things being disconnected. However, the sad part about it, I'm not gonna get you guys' questions, and I want to do. I kind of want to hear you guys' thoughts. I want to talk more about you guys' opinions and stuff like that. Um, I want to. I don't know. I just like doing. I kind of prefer Facebook uh, live stream compared to YouTube. I know YouTube's got its own live stream. I'm gonna try to figure that out, and I'll just throw you guys a link, and I'll start a live stream with you guys, and do things like that. So I could talk to you guys on what's going on without all these internet connection issues and all that stuff. I don't know. YouTube's got a more stabilized a more of a stabilized uh, live stream compared to Facebook. So I want to start doing that stuff soon. Um, and But anyway, I hope you guys like this video. Keep me updated. I'll keep you guys updated on the news. Like I said, I'm gonna start doing these every Sunday again. Since I'm out of school Monday, um, I'll keep you guys updated. Um, I'm also sorry if I'm tired. Repeat myself. I'm just freaking tired. Still got the sinus cold. Anything. Anyway, I'll have some news up this coming week, and I'll let you guys know. I'll still keep some stuff up on. Like I said, I'll keep some stuff up on Facebook Live, um, live stream on certain things, but it. I'm probably have to start moving it from here. And some people also want me to watch. Also, people want to watch these videos without um, going through all that live stream Facebook stuff too. So I'll let you guys know about it, and I'll keep you guys updated. I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.